Clip 354, mutually exclusive. So this is asking whether things can happen at the same time. So an example, if you wanted to get a tails and a head on a coin, could they happen at the same time? Well, no, they couldn't. So therefore they are mutually exclusive. Another example, could you get a 2 and a 3 on a dice at the same time? No, because they're mutually exclusive. They can't happen at the same time. So, example, can you get a head and a tail at the same time? No, you can't, so therefore they are mutually exclusive. Okay, so the key thing is that generally you'll get a little table and you'll get colours and you'll get some probabilities filled in and you'll get some left blank. And it just varies how difficult this becomes. So you'll notice by the last question, it's got algebra involved in it. But you should use the same rules that we've just done. Make sure you've done 353 before you do this, because you need the rule of 1 minus p for probabilities. Okay, so the first example, probability of green is 0.3, brown is 0.34, so 0.3, 0.34. Then it says probability of red equals probability of yellow, and there's only green, brown, red and yellow marbles in the bag. So it says give probability of yellow or blue. Well, let's go back to the beginning. You've got green, brown, red and yellow. So you need to find these two. So what do all these probabilities add up to? Well, there's only those 4 colours in, so they have to add up to 1. And this time you're using decimals rather than fractions. So add together 0.3, 0.34. Be careful with your place value. That would be 0.64. And if these two other ones are the same, then that means whatever's left over from 1, which is 0.36, is those two added together. So if they're the same, just divide that by 2. That's 0.18. So each of these is 0.18. That's the first step. And the second step, give probability of getting yellow or blue. So what do you do with this or? So yellow is 0.18 and blue is 0.34. So what do you do to those two? Well, it's not one thing happening, then another thing happening, which would be times. It's or, which means you've got to add them together. So or means plus. So add 0.34 and 0.18, so 0.52, and that's the probability of getting yellow or blue. Okay, if you understand that, then the next part, there's a question on the Haggerty clip on algebra. So same thing, these are the probabilities, but this time as letters, of getting each of these red, green, brown and yellow. They're the only ones you can have. So what do the probabilities of these 4 add up to? Well, we know all the probabilities of an event happening, everything that can happen, are equal to 1. So all these have got to add up to 1. Well, using your algebra skills, can you add them together? So 4, 9, 12, 13x. So everything all together is 13x, which is equal to 1. So therefore you can find out what x. And don't worry about trying to do it in decimals. This is asking as a fraction. So x will be, how do you get rid of 13? Well, we divide by 13 on both sides. So x is 1 over 13. So that means red is 1 over 13, green is 3 over 13, brown is 5 over 13, and yellow is 4 over 13. Notice if you add all them together, you would get 13 over 13, which is a whole. It's asking for, can you give the probability of green? Well, we know straight away from that, we've worked it out, 3 over 13. Hope that helps.